Ladies and gentlemen, now in today's video, we're going to be talking about the champion rebalance information and some of the changes that are going to be arriving in a couple of weeks' time on the 5th of February with this next patch update. So this information is also known as a buff to Human Torch, Ebony Maw, and Annihilus, some changes to Cull Obsidian, which don't seem all bad, maybe a little bit bad, but also I would just say a nerf to Namor, man. Like, it's not looking like great for Namor, but also it's quite arguably minor as well. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but there is a lot of information to go through today. And in terms of a Kabam post, this is some very well presented information. They have got a lot of graphs, a lot of data, a lot of additional stuff, and good reasoning behind why they are making some of the changes and what their goals are. So just to scroll through and give you a little bit of an idea, I think they have done a good job at trying to put forward, again, their decisions and reasoning for it. But there is some stuff that I disagree with. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So the projected timeline, again, a couple of weeks' time, Feb 5th, these changes are going to go live. And then 5 days after that, you have a 2-week window where you can sell either Cull Obsidian or Namor. So if you don't like the changes, you can sell those champions. And then on March 9th, they're going to refund those champions. So they're going to come back. But also you get a refund of any like gold, ISO 8, rank up gems, awakening gems, and signature stones that you've used on them. So if you've pulled those champions naturally, so I've got a 6-star Sig 200 rank 2 Namor. So if I sold that Namor, he would come back because we've pulled him 2 times for a 6-star crystal as just a 6-star champion. Dupe level 20, I wouldn't get an awakening gem because I didn't use an awakening gem on him. So they're going to have to do a lot of digging for that, but it seems something that they're very committed to. And this just seems like a bit of a headache on their end for changes that, at least to me, seem a little bit minor, a little bit unnecessary. I just don't see the reason, like, why they want to touch Namor and just make him a little bit more annoying. So let's jump into the Namor rebalance changes and talk about the 2 things that are going to change. So medium attacks, chance to inflict bleed is increased from 30% to 60%. And if you play Namor, you know that you don't want to get the bleed because you want to get Imperious Rex or Outrage stacks, so that triggers Imperious Rex. So this is kind of good for like shorter fights, but longer fights it just makes him a bit more annoying to ramp up, even more RNG based there. It's not the worst change in the world, but it is just a little bit annoying. So it kind of slows Namor down a little bit more there, but they kind of present the argument that his damage is like well above the average in certain modes of gameplay. Mainly the only mode of gameplay where it seems well above average really is the Realm of Legends. But I guess for future health pools, you know, if they don't want damage caps and stuff knocking about in the game, then that does present potential challenges. But I think the reason his damage per second is so high in the Realm of Legends is because you literally peak and kill the opponent. You don't have to like cycle through again. So he's pretty much got the perfect burst range for that. So I think it's additionally skewed if we have a look particularly at the Realm of Legends there. But the second change to Namor is regeneration on special attacks is decreased from 6% of missing health to 3% of missing health. So his regeneration is gutted by half. And I think this change personally is just completely unnecessary. And the reason for this one is they say his regeneration is amongst the highest regen champions in the entire game. But I just don't think that's like a good enough reason to change it. Like, it just doesn't make a solid enough argument that you've gone and sold this champion and he's had this regeneration in the first place, which is a massive incentive for a lot of suicide users because it completely, you know, covers it and allows him to regenerate a little bit as well. But it's a very core feature of the champion that he has like this solid regeneration, and it kind of worries me for the future as well because he's got good damage, he's got a fantastic signature ability, 2 amazing things as well. But, you know, how far does this rebalancing stuff go when it comes to trusting Kabam with other champions in the future? Let's say, pick a champion, Doctor Doom, for example. Doctor Doom, fantastic damage. Dr. Doom has a really, really good stagger as well, ability to control buffs, but in 6 months' time, Kabam going to be like, well, Dr. Doom, he has that stuff, but his power control, man, maybe that's a little bit too good as well. Maybe we need to tone that back. Let's just, like, reduce it by half. You know, are they just going to start, like, chipping away at new champions mechanics? I feel like if there is something particular about a character that is overpowered or they've got too much stuff, they need to address that very, very quickly. And I just feel like it's just annoying. It's just very annoying. So yeah, something about the regeneration change just doesn't really sit right with me. It's kind of like you've brought, you know, this shiny new car, you've got it, you've upgraded it, it's looking nice, and then Kabam Mike just comes along and he just punches one of the windows in, just completely shatters. He's like, well, that car's nice, we sold it to you, but it's not that nice. So I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't think it bodes well for the future of, like, selling champions. Like, how are we meant to know what characters are intended for? I feel like this is a really core part of Namor, is the value that regeneration presented, and it's not like the craziest regeneration in game. It's still like 6% of missing health, so you need to get very, very low to see a solid benefit from it. So I don't like the change to regeneration personally, and I think it is just not really that justified at all. So yeah, they sold a champion with damage reflection, good regeneration, and good damage, and he should stay that way. I can understand maybe, you know, the reasons for increasing, like, his ramp up and making him a little bit more annoying to Imperious Rex, but again, nerfing the regeneration by half, it's a bit rubbish, mate, bit rubbish. So not overly impressed with that one. And Cull Obsidian, so they're saying that they don't want to increase Cull Obsidian's block proficiency. They basically want to make his ramp up a little bit smoother and reduce the damage when he's, like, fully ramped up, so it's not super crazy. So the Cull Obsidian one, I think, is a bit more of a balance, because Namor, you're just losing stuff on Namor. But when it comes to Cull Obsidian, it just feels like a lot more of a balance change, because there is give and there's also take as well. So the take is the armor breaks being toned down a little bit from 1,400 to 1,130. But at the base, the duration goes from 10 seconds to 14 seconds per armor break, and the chance goes from 50% to 75%. So for the first, like, few matchups, which is, like, Cull's big weakness at the moment, this is just awesome for, man. It's going to make him much, much better to, like, initially jump in and, like, start being a viable and effective champion there. But Thanos favor bonuses per one do go down a little bit, 5% duration and ability accuracy per charge. So they've basically, like, condensed the ramp up and made it smaller, and he starts with more firepower there. But again, the armor breaks do get toned down a little bit as well. But in all fairness, man, like, when Cull's ramped up, he's just an absolute beast mode champion. He just hits beyond crazy hard. But the big problem with Cull Obsidian, man, is that block proficiency. When you get to Act 6 stuff of, like, over 10,000 attack, and that's so much stuff in the end game, he can just barely survive, like, any fights without getting absolutely battered by the block. So he's just a health potion feaster, mate. He's eating up all of those in your stash. And also, the Sig from the Fury goes down from 5 to 4 seconds, and the modifier goes down by about 500 maximum attack there. So again, it's not really the biggest changes to Cull Obsidian, but I'd like to see, like, a few more % block proficiency would have been really, really nice for Cull Obsidian, just to kind of ice this champion off nicely. However, personally, I think there's a good chance I will sell my Cull Obsidian, just due to the fact that he was probably one of the most disappointing champions that I ranked up last year, just because he was so fun at first for the novelty, but it's when I brought him into actual content, the block proficiency just sucked, and it just didn't make him viable for anything. And he's not a champion like Morningstar, where you can, like, you know, continually go in and ramp up. You need to get those kills as well. So if you could get charges for every fight that you do, like going into a bigger boss, something like in Abyss of Legends, for example, then he might be a bit more interesting, but he gains charges off killing the opponent. So I don't know, man, he's just never turned out to be a practical option for me in a lot of different scenarios. So yeah, very unfortunate there. And then next up, we got the changes to Human Torch. So Human Torch, very small one. The rate at which temperature increases while charging heavy is increased by 25%. Apparently, that is literally the change. But this one, I can understand the value in this, because often when charging the heavy, I get to like, 18, 19 temperature. But when it hits 20, it locks. So I think this is just going to smooth out Human Torch a little bit. And in all fairness, man, like any nice little buff to Human Torch is appreciated. He's already like really good in the right scenario. So I think this one, while it seems small, is going to be a really nice bonus for Human Torch on top of a champion that's already getting like huge appreciation at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, we got Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw's a bit hard to tell exactly how good he's going to turn out. So his persistent charge mechanic can now stack up to 20 from 6. You get 5 charges from completing all missions instead of 1 there, so that's going to stack up a fair bit more, I would assume. You get to 20 quite easily after 3-4 fights there. The ramping value, Persuasion, I think the time is increased. I think that's by 40% in terms of the actual increase on this one. So it's reduced from 0.5 to 0.7. So every second you get 2 Persuasion there, which makes him more annoying to fight, but also you get a lot more falter when playing this champion as well, especially against cosmic matchups. Potency of Black Tongue, I think this is in regards to the power reduction, goes up to 40%, and you can hit Black Tongue much quicker because that's when you reach 100 Persuasion. So yeah, that's going to be quite good for the power control on top of visibility to steal power on the heavy attacks as well. The deterioration passive timer decreased to 2 seconds from 6. So that's when he's got Black Tongue. Every 2 seconds he's going to gain a deterioration, and you can use a degeneration to scale that damage up. And also the degeneration effect is changed to modified attack from base attack. So he's going to benefit from boosters, maybe masteries as well. I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but also it's going to make him more annoying to fight if you get the degeneration. Going to take a fair bit more damage there. But also degeneration damage increased to 0.3 attack from 0.2 attack. So that's actually a 50% increase on the degeneration damage. Plus you're going to get modified attack bonuses as well, and also the deterioration passives, like stacking up a lot more. So this could be a little bit more spicy there. So with Ebony Maw, I'm just very curious to see how the stuff is going to like meld together to kind of increase his damage output. My prediction is he's probably going to have his damage hopefully doubled, but I don't think it's going to be anything like crazy. But he's got some solid base utility. He might be a bit more usable there, and he's going to get a lot more falter when you're playing him. So he's going to be interesting to play, and I'm curious to revisit him once some of these changes go live. But he's going to be more annoying to fight, man. But Human Torch, like, still going to absolutely shred through this man. So yeah, going to be a very curious one to have a look at. And then finally, we've got Annihilus. So the duration of his Fury, he converts from the Special 2, is being increased from 12 seconds to 18 seconds. So it's an alright change because it's going to allow you to get like the Fury benefit of the next Special 2 you throw, and like another combo or two with the Fury buff as well. But the problem I have with Annihilus is that there are so many like characters in this game that have really long animations, and it's really hard to stack up the stifle and get like a massive benefit from the Fury. So it's going to help him. Like Annihilus, he is not really a hard-hitting champion at the moment. Feels like quite underwhelming to play in a lot of matchups, just due to the fact that it's so easy to lose that stifle tempo. And also there is going to be a timer icon to display how long the Special 1 pauses stifles on the opponent, so that makes it a little bit easier to manage there. But Annihilus, I don't think too much is going to change. He's going to hit a little bit harder, but nothing like super amazing there is my prediction. But we'll see how that one turns out. Overall, there's some alright stuff, but I'm still not proper chuffed about the changes coming to Namor and the regeneration being cut in half. I can understand the need for maybe his damage ramp being slowed down a little bit, but I just feel if you sell a champion with a certain PC utility and then, like, you know, 8-9 months later you just half that PC utility because it's a bit too good, I don't know, it seems a little bit weird. I really don't think the regeneration is anywhere close to overpowered or crazy. So yeah, that one doesn't sit too well with me. But apart from that, not super thrilled about some of the stuff, man. Some of the buffs could be better for other champions as well, like Ebony Maw and Annihilus, but changes, we'll have to see. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below when it comes to the rebalance of these champions. Please do smash that like button if you enjoyed today's breakdown. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.